Robert F. Kennedy Jr. celebrating in Utah, the first state where he has qualified for the presidential ballot. He dropped out of the Democratic primary and is running now as an independent candidate. A recent Fox poll shows he's in third place at 14% in a hypothetical race against President Biden and former President Trump, Green Party candidate Jill Stein, and independent Cornel West. So RFK Jr. tops 20% in a New York Times Siena poll of battleground states, and he is within single digits of both President Biden and former President Trump in Arizona and in Michigan. Of course, he's not on the ballot in those states yet. And Robert F. Kennedy Jr. joins me now from Utah, where he wrapped up a rally in Salt Lake. Mr. Kennedy, great to have you with us. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Martha, thank you so much for having me.
So let me ask you this. You're on one state's ballot, and I think we have the map that you all have put out about how you're going to get on the other states and how many you expect to be on. Give us a sense, because we showed how close you are in some of these battleground races, but yet you're not on the ballot in Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona, Michigan, or Wisconsin. So explain to us how this is going to work.
We're going to get on, we need 1 million signatures. We're going to get on the ballot in every state and the District of Columbia. You know, a lot of the states, Martha, make it very, very difficult. They make it burdensome to get on the ballot deliberately, to entrench the two-party system, and to prevent dissenting voices. Most democracies in the world have a multi-party system. George Washington, actually, who was the last independent to occupy the Oval Office, complained in his farewell speech that the two-party system would encourage a kind of partisanship that would have those parties be controlled by outside interests and put political ambition ahead of patriotism to our country. So I don't think it's a good system, but it's the system we're dealing with. And I think, ironically, we have 50,000 active volunteers. We collected double the petitions with the signatures we needed in Utah in a week when it was in the middle of a snowstorm. People had to take their gloves off to sign our petition. We're going to be able to get on in every state. And it actually, I think, ironically, will probably help us over the long term because it's forcing us to develop an army, a ground game in all of these states that is going to serve us well when it comes time to get out the vote.
Yeah, it's interesting because I watched the video that you put out earlier today, and you said you need $15 million and you have to sign up millions of voters. And I had the same thought, that this forces your team to go through this process of getting out and, speaking to people and getting them to sign these petitions and potentially making them engaged in this process. I want to put up this is your strongest category in the recent polls. Once again, these are battleground states among young people, voters 18 to 29, and this is a combination of the main battleground states, Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. Trump at 29, Biden at 30, you are at 34%, and then voters 30 to 44 years old, you beat Trump and Biden is probably within the margin of error at 31%, and they each have 30% in these. Now, let me ask you this. You have to have 270 electoral votes. No independent, as you say, since George Washington has ever won because the electoral college system works as it does. How could you get to 270 potentially? And can anyone get to 270 if you were to have this kind of margin in the real situation?
We're very confident that we're going to get to 270 votes. As you point out, President Biden, President Trump get on the ballot for free. They're going to force us to spend $15 million to get on the ballot. But, as I pointed out, and our numbers in not just that Fox poll, but in recent polling consistently has shown me leading President Trump and President Biden in Americans under 45 years of age, which is a key bellwether demographic. This is 10 months ahead of the election. I'm also beating them among independent voters and a lot of other categories. So you know, I have 10 months. My average, I think, the Harvard Harris, the New York Times Siena poll was in the battleground states. I'm within single digits, within 10 points of both President Biden and President Trump. I only need 34 points to win the election. Because technically, hypothetically, I could win with 34 points if the other two got 33, and it's winner take all. And that's how I'm going to win. I have 10 months to take 4.5 percentage points from both other candidates. And we're very confident that I'm going to do that.
Well, it's very interesting. You're on in Utah, as you say. I just want to ask you one news of the day question before I let you go about the Supreme Court potentially taking up the issue of taking the former President Trump off the ballot in Colorado and in Maine, where there's also this effort. What do you think about those efforts to take the former president off the ballot based on an insurrection charge that he has not been charged with?
I think it's wrong-headed, and I think it's counterproductive. I'm not a fan of President Trump's. That's why I'm running against him. But I don't want, and I'm confident that I'm going to beat him, but I don't want to beat him on a slanted playing field. I think the American people want to see a fair fight. They want debates. They want real democracy. They want to be able to choose their candidate, their president, not have a court choose it. And as you point out, I've read the decision, and it makes no sense to me that you can deprive an American citizen of this right to run for president without ever charging him with, much less convicting him of insurrection. He's not even charged with it.
That's right.
So, you know, that seems to violate due process, and it makes us look like a banana republic. And by the way, I think it's going to hurt the people who are behind it. I think it turns Trump into a kind of, you know, people know it's unfair, and it turns him into kind of amplifies it, you know, him as a mythological figure. I think it's very, very short-sighted, and it's just wrong. It's un-American.
Well, it certainly has helped him in the polls, all of these challenges and all of these indictments along the way. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., thank you very much, sir. We look forward to talking to you as this campaign moves forward. We're now in 2024, an election year, and we thank you very much for joining us. We'll talk to you soon.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.